Okay, let's unpack this. Have you ever felt that specific kind of subtle energy drain?
Mm.
You know the one when you're just completely invested in someone, but they are just consistently kind of disengaged.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about that feeling, the anxiety when a text goes unanswered, not for 5 minutes, but like 7 hours. Or that quiet calculation you do, figuring out how long you should wait to reply just to match their energy.
Yeah.
And it's exhausting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Being totally all in for someone who seems perpetually, I don't know, elsewhere. Evasive.
Always needing some kind of gentle coaxing just to show up. It's a
Okay.
pursuit that's basically defined by resistance, isn't it? And, well, this brings us to a core realization. It sounds so simple, it maybe should be obvious, but it's actually deeply surprising to most people.
Which is?
The only people really worth pursuing are the ones who are enthusiastic about us, like right from the start, natively enthusiastic. They shouldn't need begging or chasing or you playing games, withholding attention strategically, none of that. They're just keen, they're ready, they're delighted you exist. Simple as that.
That sounds, well, it sounds incredibly healthy. Like a mantra for good mental health. But I think for a lot of people listening, that might sound a bit boring. Maybe even fundamentally wrong.
Right. Why is that?
Yeah. Why do we consistently equate struggle with value, especially in love? That's our mission today, isn't it? We're doing a deep dive into the cultural stuff, the psychological history of why we chase resistance.
Tracing it from, the big stories, the literary canon.
Right down to our own personal blueprints.
Exactly. To understand why prioritizing that native enthusiasm you mentioned is maybe the only robust awakening we can really afford.
Because that simple choice,
Yeah.
choosing the keen person, it feels almost radical, doesn't it?
It really does, especially when you put it against, 2,000 years of storytelling that basically says the opposite.
Absolutely. If you look at the cultural philosophy, what we tend to call love, when you really examine it, it's rarely about two people just meeting easily, both receptive.
No, it's almost always framed as the business of overcoming obstacles to love. It's not about enjoying someone who's already smiling back at you.
It's the hurdles.
Precisely. And what's fascinating here is how consistent that structure is. The traditional love story structure. Doesn't matter if it's an ancient epic poem or, a modern rom-com. Structurally, it's basically a study of one person trying their absolute hardest, often sacrificing dignity, time, sanity, just to persuade someone who is resistant or distracted or, otherwise unavailable to just look their way.
Yeah, I mean, if the love interest just said, oh, cool, I like you too. How about dinner next Tuesday?
Right. Where's the story?
The novel ends on page 2. There's no plot.
Exactly. The beloved has to be beautiful, brilliant, whatever, but that desirability needs to be wrapped up in a substantial problem.
A problem like,
Oh, they're married or devoted to God or too proud, too defended, too wounded to connect. The whole plot, the entire narrative is just retelling all the difficult, arduous steps taken until they can finally be united. Love in these stories is really just the description of all the colorful, painful obstacles you had to overcome.
it's the journey, the long audition. That's what supposedly proves the prize is worth it.
And if it comes too easily,
We suspect it's shallow or not real. The struggle gives it weight.
and that framework, that narrative, it's incredibly powerful. It shapes us. It convinces us, often completely unconsciously, that if we aren't suffering for love, it can't possibly be the real deal. It can't be worth our commitment.
Okay, so that's the big cultural script we inherit. But you mentioned it connects to something more personal, too.
Yes. We move from those grand, epic tales of frustration to something much more intimate, our own psychological history.
Ah, right. We learn the cultural script, but we also learn about love from our earliest experiences, don't we? Like with conditional attention.
That's the psychological echo, exactly. The blueprint for seeking out resistance, it's often drawn up way before we even start dating. Think about it. Many of us first learned about love from parents or caregivers who were, well, in their own ways, maybe unreliable, distracted, emotionally unavailable.
And that doesn't always mean physically absent, right?
Yeah.
They could be right there, but guarded,
Hassan,
stress.
or dealing with their own stuff, addiction, depression, or maybe just really preoccupied, focused on a sibling, a new job, their own troubled relationship.
And crucially, perhaps they didn't seem particularly impressed by us.
Which means our first, strongest experiences of connection got tangled up with feeling like we were constantly sort of on probation. And this creates a really powerful, lasting, unconscious impression that real love has to involve some unfulfillment, delay. resistance.
It teaches us we have to strive, perform.
Yes, and be put on hold while the person we desire explores all their other options. Before maybe, just maybe, they grant us a tiny bit of attention.
Wow. Just thinking about that energy. The pure, desperate hope you feel as a kid. Hoping someone you adore might finally just turn your way and think, okay, you're enough.
That experience leaves a profound echo, doesn't it, in our adult relationships? We don't just want a partner. Subconsciously, we might actually seek out people who replicate that emotional environment.
The one where we learn the best reward only comes after the absolute hardest struggle.
Precisely.
And that script, the one rooted so deep that says, I need to prove I'm worthy of eventual attention. That's what we carry blindly into modern dating. Okay, here's where it gets really interesting, I think. Because this unconscious legacy, it doesn't just make us tolerate red flags.
It makes us actively pursue them sometimes.
Yes, we normalize things that objectively should be instant deal breakers. Why? Because they feel familiar.
Like what kind of things?
Well, for instance, maybe we don't see anything wrong. If someone we're interested in says they're really keen, but they're just so busy, the next time they can possibly see us is like 4 weeks from now.
And instead of seeing that as disinterest, we see it as the necessary struggle. Proof they're high value because they're so in demand.
Exactly. Or the classic modern trap.
Yeah.
The person who casually mentions they're currently weighing you up against, say, 2 other people.
Oh, yeah. Or maybe considering a sudden career move to a remote island for 5 years.
Right. And instead of just walking away, we feel almost galvanized. We think, okay, challenge accepted. I just need to prove I'm the best choice.
We accept the partner who's evasive about Saturday nights or who just can't seem to initiate intimacy, whether that's sex or even just holding hands in public.
We even get into that really destructive pattern of trying to convince someone they need therapy.
But not really for their own well-being.
No. So they'll finally have some kind of breakthrough and realize how much they actually want us.
It's all about making them see our value.
Okay, but I have to push back a little here. Because the real world is messy, isn't it? What about genuine shyness? Or someone who's been really hurt before and just needs a bit more time, needs to warm up? Aren't we maybe at risk of dismissing genuinely good people who just need some patience?
That's a really important distinction and a fair question. True shyness or caution born from past hurt, it usually looks different. Someone who is genuinely shy but interested, or cautious but interested, they usually show a reciprocal commitment. They show up.
How so?
They might be slow, sure, but they are consistently, even if slowly, moving towards you. There's effort. There's transparency. What we're discussing here isn't really shyness. It's wavering. It's active structural resistance. They are consistently sending the message, through their actions or lack thereof, that they are unwilling or unable to commit energy to you. A genuinely interested but shy person. They'll still reply promptly, usually. They'll make the next plan concrete. They might even tell you, hey, I'm a bit slow to open up, but I'm really enjoying getting to know you.
Okay, so we're talking about the person who offers that. Intermittent reinforcement. That's the key difference. Like the occasional enthusiastic text after weeks of near silence. The small win that keeps you hooked.
Exactly that. That intermittent reinforcement. It gives us that little dopamine hit, feels like a hard-won victory, and it perfectly replicates that childhood thrill of finally being seen after striving so hard.
But that effort, that constant need to convince someone just to be with you.
It's a tremendous waste of energy.
Yeah.
Catastrophic, even.
Why catastrophic?
Because think about what a good shared life actually requires. It has profoundly complicated parts, mundane parts too.
Like managing money together, raising kids maybe, maintaining friendships, dealing with illness.
Navigating sexual intimacy over decades, all of that takes huge amounts of sustained energy and commitment from both people. If you spend all your current emotional resources just trying to persuade someone, you're valuable.
Where's the energy left for the actual demanding stuff of a shared life?
Exactly. Your entire energy budget is depleted just trying to get them to the starting line. It's completely inefficient.
It's hard, though. We have to acknowledge the pull. We are often deeply charmed, magnetically drawn to the troubled ones, the coy ones, those who leave us guessing.
They are fascinating, absolutely.
But it's a game, a personal, emotional game we maybe just can't afford to keep playing.
Which brings us back to what you called the robust awakening, the necessity of it. It boils down to the rule of enthusiasm. The only person you should ever seriously contemplate dedicating your time and energy to
Is someone who is at the table, with conviction,
Mhm.
matching yours right at the start.
Right this start, yes.
That means we need to develop the discipline, maybe the courage, to eject the wavering ones, the defended ones, the unavailable ones, immediately.
Immediately, and based on everything we've discussed about cultural scripts, yeah, this probably means learning to eject the majority of people we meet, especially those who fit that romantic archetype of the hard-to-get prize.
It sounds ruthless, but maybe it's just efficient, necessary for sanity.
I think so. Look, it isn't love if you're constantly chasing them down, sending message after message, and they're always out of battery or just vague.
Yeah.
It isn't love if they're secretly liking other people's posts while ignoring yours, or if they tell you that your completely legitimate needs for attention and clarity are somehow too intense.
Right. That's a big one.
Mm.
Being called intense for just wanting to know where you stand.
Mm-hmm. So we need to get better at recognizing the few keen ones, the ones whose commitment just flows easily,
Yeah.
and then actively clear everyone else out of the way.
Stop making excuses for them, like, oh, maybe they're just shy, or maybe I wasn't clear enough about my intentions.
Exactly. Their lack of clarity is the answer. Their wavering is the communication.
Let's state that core idea again, then.
Mm.
The only worthwhile lovers
Are the ones who don't need persuading. They already like you a lot. They don't leave you constantly wondering where they are, if they'll reply, or what they're thinking.
their commitment is just there. It flows easily.
So that your collective energy together can be pointed towards the normal, challenging, rewarding difficulties of actually living day-to-day life.
Not wasted on the completely unnecessary struggle of just winning them over in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
It really feels like a stark choice then, between that fascinating but ultimately exhausting struggle that just depletes you.
And the easy, immediate flow that actually allows you to build something real, something sustainable.
Yeah.
And, if we connect this to the bigger picture, those others, the resistant ones, the confusing ones, sure, they might be lovely looking. They might be ideal for generating tons of late night arguments that feel really passionate in the moment.
Perfect for a movie plot.
Perfect for a movie plot
Yeah.
or a psychoanalytic case study, perhaps. They're fascinating, maybe, but often in the way a broken machine is fascinating. But ultimately, if they don't bring that immediate native enthusiasm to the table,
They're just a waste of time.
a plain waste of your precious finite time. Focus on the few keen ones, clear everyone else out of the path immediately.